Hey guys, Synthetic here, and as you can see we are back for the series where we try to make Ricciardo world champion, and you can see we are here for the 18th round in Mexico, and it's getting now to an important point of the season, and yeah, we have to make sure that we score consistent points. Here you can see the race strategy. We opted to go for the one stop, starting on the super softs and finish the race on the softs, and there's a little bit of rain expected in the race, so we have to see how it goes in terms of weather. So here we are for the race. We have 5 red lights and lights out, and away we go. It seems that we got a really good launch off the line. We were able to already get the first position up into P19, and I think we have the other Sauber on our left. So yeah, we are trying to go for the right because no one is really blocking our way. You can see a few cars were outbraking themselves, and we took advantage of that, and we are already in P15 side by side with Fernando Alonso, but we should have the straight line speed over him because he's in a McLaren. And yeah, we were able to brake really late, and we were already able to get alongside the next few cars. So yeah, quite a decent start so far. We are going now side by side with I think Palma it is, and yeah, we keep it around the outside and make another position stick up into P13 behind Kevin Magnussen, and you can see a few cars went side by side through this complex of corners, and we aren't really able to gain any kind of advantage here because it's single lines through most of the corners, so we have to be very careful and pick a smart line. And unfortunately we aren't really gaining too much on the straights, which might be due to our higher wings, and the Renault engine doesn't really help either. So we are really braking very late into turn 1, and we are able to gain I think one position at least, and we seem to get a really good launch out of the I think second corner, so we might get another position into the next left-hander, and we are trying really we are braking really late and trying to hang it around the outside, and at the end we were able to make the position stick as well. So up into P11 now, so a really solid start to the race, and Nico Hülkenberg ahead, so we might get him probably as well in this lap, depending on how his fight will end with the car ahead. I think he's fighting with a Haas, so yeah, we have to get a really good line out of here. So it seems that we got a good line, and we are gaining quite a bit on the straight, so maybe if we can try to brake late again, we might get both of them, and we do so. And unfortunately Hülkenberg wasn't really able to get a cutback, so at the end we made 2 positions stick, and we are in P9 now. Next up is Massa, and we pushed really hard onto lap 7 now. We are really close to him, but we aren't really gaining on the straight, so I think we have to go for the dive bomb again in order to get past, because we can't waste our time behind these cars. We have to fight in the championship, and at the moment we have to find every point possible in order to have a healthy lead heading into the last 2 races. And we also have a slight chance of getting a good result with our Constructors' Championship, because I think we aren't too far away from Mercedes, and who knows, if Ferrari has some kind of problems we might get them too, but we have to see how it goes in terms of constructors. And here you can see we were able to make the move on the first Force India, and I think in a lap after that Ocon locked up his wheels, and we were able to get his position as well. And at this point we had a lot of clean air ahead of us, so we are trying really hard to push now and to catch our teammate who's just up ahead. And I think at this point the first few cars went into the pits, and you can see in lap 11 our teammate went into the pits as well. So we are leading now the race, and at this point we try to go for the overcut, try to maximize everything we can. But here you can see Raikkonen was behind us, and he was on new ultra soft tires, and he was closing us by quite some margin per lap. So yeah, we try to push more and more with every following lap, and here you can see it already started to get very damp, and the first few clouds were appearing. So at this point I wasn't sure whether my strategy was the right thing to do, but at this point the tires were quite worn, so we had to stop. And we decided to go for the softs, simply because in rain conditions, harder compound of tires really are an advantage. So yeah, we have to see how these work in the other conditions, and it also depends on how much rain there will be and how fast it will arrive. And yeah, at this point we are out of the pits behind our teammate. I think he had a 7-second gap due to his undercut on the ultra soft tires. So we also had, I think, Lewis behind us who was really catching us, and here you can see there were already the first few drops. So yeah, rain might not be too far away, as some people left the pits. I think it was one of the Ferraris. And yeah, it might be very interesting to see how this race goes, because we have now to defend from Lewis, who was really fast at this point. But with every following lap, our tires should work better and better, especially because they are harder, and harder compounds have a wider working range, which is quite an advantage in the rain. So yeah, you can see there's already a lot of rain compared to the last few laps. So yeah, it might be more tricky to keep the car on the track. You can see we have a lot of understeer already, so yeah, it might get to a point where we have to stop in the next few laps, because I struggled quite a lot. You can see we are already 1 second down on our fastest lap, and Lewis basically lost, or we were able to gain quite a bit in this lap. So yeah, it's quite interesting at this point. I think the smartest way is to wait, and probably there will be a change to intermediates, as our teammate went into the pits, or goes into the pits, which is not ideal, because yeah, the rain is getting worse and worse. You can see we are losing the car and have a lot of understeer through the corners, and there's no way we can go till the end, and a lot of understeer and oversteer again out of this part. So there's no way he can make up that amount of time. And here you can see the DRS got deactivated, which is usually a sign that you have to change your tires to intermediates or wets, depending on how much rain there is. So yeah, at this point we just changed our tires to intermediates and go into the pits. You can see we had quite a lot of oversteer, but we were able to get into the pits safely and change our tires, which is yeah, quite good. And I think we have now a solid lead, because our strategy worked pretty much perfectly at this point. And now it's all about saving the tires, trying to get a gap to Lewis behind us, because I think he wasn't too far away. And here you can see a few cars stayed out on the dry tires, one of them being Sebastian, which I didn't really understand, because yeah, his tires must have felt really bad at this point. And from there on in, we were able to control the race. We controlled our tires, we controlled the gap, and controlled our fuel. And at the end, we were able to win the race, and it also puts us in a really great position, depending on how Seb finished the race. So yeah, we will see that in just a second, but I will leave you guys now with one of my faster laps on the intermediates, and I will talk to you guys after that lap. Here we are now at the end of the lap. We were able to extend the gap by quite a lot, and you can see we ran wide slightly, which got us a penalty, but it doesn't really matter too much, because the gap to the car behind is I think over 10 seconds. So yeah, we were able at the end to win quite an interesting race, and I was quite happy at this point, because yeah, it also helps us in the constructors fight as well. And here you can see the racing results. Seb just finished in P5, which should help us quite a lot. And at the end, we are leading by 14 points heading into the last 2 races, which is a really good lead. So we have just to get 10 more points in order to win the championship. But in terms of constructors, it's not looking that great. We are now 69 points behind Ferrari. We might get Mercedes, but we have to see how that goes. And yeah, it might be an interesting fight till the end. And I hope you guys enjoyed the race, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Goodbye.